Hello TMGT 512 students. This is Dr. Aiden. I hope you are having a wonderful week so far. This week our topic is current era in leadership. So far there was trait era where researchers tried to find some traits that would guarantee effective leadership, but they failed. And then there was behavior era where researchers tried to find some leadership behaviors that ensures effective leadership, and they failed to. And then contingency era started. Contingency era stated that leadership effectiveness depends on situation. In different situations, different leadership styles are needed to be effective, which is still accurate. No one has yet disproved it. But now the new trend in the leadership research area is using inspiration and connection with followers. And this is nothing against contingency era. This is just a new research trend, a different approach. We are looking at inspirational and followers connection relationship type things, and we are trying to define leadership styles according to these inspiration and connection with followers. So this week's we are on chapter 6. This week's learning objectives are, as I said, discussing distinguishing elements of the new era in leadership, understanding what is charismatic leadership, what is transactional and transformational leadership, explaining factors that contribute to transformational leadership, describing value-based approaches which are servant leaders, authentic leaders, and positive leaders. This is the leadership question of the week. Just think about what you think. Write it on a piece of paper so you can check at the end of the lecture. So there are some benefits of this new era approaches. First of all, they allow us to look at different aspects of leaders. Okay, we look at the inspirational power of leaders, highlights the importance of followers' emotional reactions. So followers are very important in this era, and they focus on leaders at top levels mostly. And we are looking at cognitive aspects of leadership, which is very important. So let's start with charisma. What is charisma? It means an inspired and divine gift. That's the word meaning. Charismatic leaders are those who have a profound emotional effect on the followers. Followers see charismatic leaders as heroes, some kind of a hero, a role model, right? In some cultures, they even see them like as a prophet, as a god, rather than just bosses. So, but charisma, just like any other personality traits or characteristics, does not ensure effective leadership. It's most likely good to have it, but it doesn't guarantee effective leadership. Requirements of charismatic leadership has three requirements. First of all, followers need to have some characteristics. Secondly, leader has to have some characteristics, right? And then there must be some situations that allow charismatic leadership. Then we come up with charismatic leadership. Okay, so now let's look at what are those leader characteristics, follower characteristics, and those situations very briefly. Charismatic leaders need to have high self-confidence. When you see high self-confidence and strong convictions about their ideas, you can feel the charisma in the leader. And they have a high energy and enthusiasm. Okay, they have excellent communication skills, and they build their image. How about the followers? To have a charismatic leadership environment, followers needs to be intensely emotional bond with their leader. They need to have a high degree of respect, affection, and esteem for their leader, loyalty to the leader, okay, high performance expectations, and they unquestioned obedience, okay. Whatever their leader says, they think it's true. This kind of followers cause a charismatic leadership environment. Now, what are the situations that promotes charismatic leadership? There are external factors and internal organizational factors. The external factors are when there's a need for change, when there's sense of a crisis, okay. Uh, these are the two most important elements where charismatic leaders exist. And in terms of organizational factors, internal factors, we need to talk about organizational life cycle. What do you mean by that? So, charismatic leaders are more likely to be effective in the early and the latest stages of an organization's life cycle. Okay? Because in the early and late stages, either no set direction is established or change is needed. Okay? I hope that makes sense. And then type of task, if the task structure is low, so tasks are not clear in the organization, you need a leader more, right? You fall into this uh, you fall into this boundary of like asking for a leader, and then charismatic leaders pops out. Now reward structure, if there is no rewards for your success, then what are you working for? There the charismatic leaders exam pops up to make you motivated. And then organization structure and culture element is flexible and organic structures and non-bureaucratic organizational cultures are more likely to encourage charismatic leadership. Okay, these are the internal factors that encourage, promotes charismatic leadership. Culture has a big impact, right? Because in different cultures, finding someone charismatic might differ. Like, for example, in China, people might see some other type of leader to be charismatic, whereas in the United States, people might find some other kind of leader to be charismatic. Let's say in some cultures, you expect your leader to be bold, aggressive, okay? When your leader is bold and aggressive, maybe you think that, oh, he's charismatic. But in some cultures, you might like more softly spoken, like sweet personality, some joke maker, funny personality to be charismatic. So culture has actually a lot of impact on the way we see charisma. There are there are two main types of charisma proposed: ethical charisma and unethical charisma. Okay, so people can use charisma in a good way. Also, people can use charisma in a bad way. Ethical charisma mostly focus on organizational goals. Okay, message build on team goals, encourage diversity, encourage different ideas, different perspectives, accepts criticism, okay, accepts feedback. They energize and motivate followers and explain the need for change. Doesn't enforce the change, but actually describe the need for the change. So change is accepted. On the other hand, unethical charisma, more individualistic, focused on personal goals. Okay, so everything is actually the leader's goals. They don't really think about followers' goals. The main goals are leaders' goals. This discourages or punishes divergent views. Uh, they are very close to criticism. Okay, we can see examples of unethical charismatic leaders all over the world. They are selected by the majority of the country because people just fall for his or her charisma, but he or she is very close to criticism. Okay, they like creating the sense of crisis, so the followers actually try to obey him or her even more. Okay, so the followers even wants his existence more because he or she creates the sense of the crisis. Okay, but actually he or she only focuses on personal goals, okay, rather than their followers. The question we asked at the beginning of the lecture revisited here. So basically, charisma is good, but it does not necessarily lead to effective leadership. Okay. Now there is transactional and transformational leadership. Transactional leadership focuses on day-to-day activities. It works on the exchange between leaders and followers. So there are some, it's goal-oriented, task-oriented. On the other hand, transformational leadership is there's an emotional bond between leader and followers. Okay, so this is not just like a very different types of leadership. Okay, different researchers divide different types of leaderships. This one just divides it into two: transactional and transformational leadership. This is kind of like look like uh, relationship motivated leader versus task motivated leaders. Okay, transactional leadership uh, are two types: contingent reward and management by exception (MBE). Contingent reward, leaders provide followers with promised rewards when followers fulfill their agreed upon goals. Okay, so leaders are providing rewards. That's what causing them to be leaders. This can be actually very productive because by thinking about the rewards, followers get more productive. Management by exception is a leadership style where the leader interacts little with followers, provides almost no direction to the followers, only gets involved when things go wrong, okay, to provide negative feedback. This is generally not an effective type of leadership. The next one, transformational leadership, is uh, includes three elements, three factors. Okay, charisma, inspiration, intellectual stimulation, individual consideration. Now let's talk about what these mean. So charisma and inspiration. The charismatic leadership relationship creates the intense emotional bond between leaders and followers. Okay, the result is loyalty and trust. So followers are inspired to implement the leader's vision, the leader's objectives. Okay. The second factor, so by charisma and inspiration, the leaders, transformational leaders, take care of the resistance to change, basically. And then the second factor is the intellectual stimulation. This is about leaders' ability to motivate followers to solve problems by challenging them intellectually and empowering them. Remember, empowerment, we talked about this last section in the power section. Empowerment is giving the opportunity, giving their followers the opportunity to get involved in decision making. Okay. So intellectual stimulation is tied to that. And then the last factor is individual consideration. Okay. Transformational leaders worry about each single follower in their team. That makes those each individual to feel motivated and encouraged. Okay, so that's something positive. Can you have time to deal with every single follower in your team? Of course, it depends on team size, right? Uh, But that's what transformational leaders does. You make every single individual in your company and in your team to feel important. Okay, motivation. So that makes them motivated and encouraged. Just think about, let's say, the president of the company sends birthday messages to birthday cards to each employee in their birthdays. Would you not feel more motivated seeing a card written by the president specifically for you? Yeah, that's a very, very good transformational leadership. Okay, and then that causes organizational change effectively. And then another researchers, you can go to your book and see who in which books these type of theories are created, because it's not just one person creating this. There are many followers in many different studies. Okay, I'm just giving you the main ideas, so go to your textbook to get the details. Value-based leadership theories came out, and this leadership theory proposed three different leaders: servant leaders, authentic leaders, positive leaders. Servant leadership is basically service to followers. I mean, you can tell servant leaders. So basically, it's based on serving to your followers. Okay, empowerment. Authentic leadership is it basically emphasizes the importance of leaders' self-awareness and being true to his or her own values. Okay, so to be a great leader, you need to be yourself. This is said by Padmasree Warrior, who is Chief Technology Officer at Cisco Systems. Okay, to be a great leader, you need to be yourself. This is what authentic leadership is. So self-awareness is being aware of one's emotions and abilities, okay, and potential inner conflicts. So being aware of yourself as a leader. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Be yourself. What are your values? Okay, what is your culture? And then unbiased consideration of issues. So able to consider multiple perspectives in a balanced manner. Okay. And then behaviors reflect personal values and convictions. You don't have a desire to please others. Okay. Your decisions are made, or your behaviors are guided by your personal values. You know who you are, and you act like who you are. Okay. And then the last one, relational authenticity, allows for you can openly share information about yourself, okay, in your close relationships. So if you have these characteristics, you can be an authentic leader. The last one is positive leadership. Positive leadership is basically putting emphasis on your individual strengths and helping people achieve their highest potential. Okay, this is also called psychological capital. Basically, you don't think about negative things. Okay, you only think about positive things and to improve those positive things. So the characteristics of positive leadership: you have to be optimistic, you have to encourage positive deviance, focus on the strengths, okay, create a positive climate. There was a cartoon character, I cannot remember right now, sorry, but it was about optimism, positivism. We can relate it to this. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Was it Pollyanna? Anyways, so having positive communications with language, affirmative language, and this is very important, dealing with negative quickly. So quickly taking care of negative things, okay? And then immediately turning the negative into a positive for the team, okay? But when we have a critic look at value-based approaches, first of all, especially the positive real leaders. Being positive is not sufficient for effective leadership, right? I mean, you can get into the risk of delusional optimism, so you can overestimate strengths, exaggerate talents, okay, unrealistic chances, determining unrealistic chances for success, okay. Basically, you might get into a state that you think your team is better than actually what it is, okay. uh, I mean, and in different cultures, some cultures are just focused on negative things, some cultures focus on positive things. So this is not like applicable for all cultures, of course. That's the end of this video lecture. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's helpful. As I said, you need to read the chapter in detail. Okay, there are very good examples for each theory, and also you can see who proposed these theories. It's very important. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.